changing my mindset is something that has helped me significantly in terms of how I look at myself and also how I look at other people. And I can now really celebrate someone and be happy for them without becoming envious. I can definitely point out that this is amazing. This person has achieved such an amazing thing. They've bought a house, or they are renting an apartment, or they've been approved for car financing. That is an amazing thing, without saying, oh, but I'm behind. The season that you are in, make sure that you are still giving yourself a chance to grow. Because when you focus on things that you shouldn't be focusing on, and you're pouring your energy into things that you shouldn't be pouring your energy into, you are taking away from what you are meant to be doing at that point in your life. You have patiently waited for what is yours. In its abundance, it will make its way to you. You won't have to go to war for it, be all torn up over it, act out of character for it. Nah, absolutely not. Not even a little bit. That man, that job, that house or apartment, that trip abroad, that car, whatever it is you are constantly having to fight for, if you're having to practice witchcraft for it, wish for other people's downfall so that you can have it, that's not yours, my sister or my brother. You are now operating in some evil mess you shouldn't have had to operate in if you had just waited your turn. Hi community, welcome back to A Cupful. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. How's everyone doing? I hope we're all doing good. I am doing absolutely amazing. So grateful. God is good every single day, and my heart is just in absolute awe of what God can do. So before we get into this week's episode, I need you to pause for a little bit. Let's do this together. If you can, please stop whatever it is that you're doing, and with me, take a deep breath in and then out. And again, in and out. One last time, in and then out. So this isn't usually how I start the episode. We're not meditating or anything like that, but in the name of this week's one, I thought it would be fitting to just really get started by slowing down a bit. Because what is the hurry? What is the rush? As per the title of this week's episode, I want to find out from you why you're running, where it is that you are going, why you're in such a hurry, and why must everything be done so quickly? Why can't things happen slowly? Why can't we just slow down a bit? So let that marinate, and in your own time reflect on the questions that I've asked. And yeah, I'm hoping that this is going to prompt you to really look into, especially if you are in a hurry and you are looking to get things done quickly and you feel like you're constantly rushing and constantly having to move quickly. Ask yourself these questions and then look into the answers. And if something is not right, then that will give you an indication that you need to work on taking things a lot more slower than you are at the moment. So I was listening to a sermon titled Worth the Wait by Pastor T.D. Jakes, and he highlighted how millennials really battle with the need for things to happen instantly. The peace, the growth, the healing, the relationships, the success, the wealth, the winning, the overall journey. And when it doesn't happen instantly, it then becomes an indication of failure or being behind or being lost or being stuck, which is not true at all. And what he was highlighting is that nothing happens overnight, which is true, and that what you are working towards is worth waiting for. There is no need to rush through anything. We're young. We're so young. I know that a lot of the people that listen to this podcast are young, so I'm speaking to a lot of young people. You're still young when you're in your 30s. So if you're listening and you're in your 30s, you are still significantly young. You're not 60, you're not 80, you are not 100. And we'll be good. We really will be good as long as we make good choices and we remain intentional, learn from our mistakes, adopt healthy ways of navigating this life, and just overall be serious about ourselves, we'll be fine. As long as you're not taking things like super casual and like you're very chilled about everything and you're not a serious person and you're just not an uninterested person, like if you're not any of what I mentioned, I promise you that you'll be okay. You have a sense of urgency, but you also are not in a hurry to go anywhere too quickly. You're not looking to make things happen unrealistically fast. You know what I mean? I promise you, you'll be good. Being a young person who has been caught up in aggressively comparing myself to my peers, I really was hearing what Pastor TD Jakes was saying. I have been in battle with not being okay with waiting and with wanting things to happen instantaneously for a really long time. And it definitely wasn't helping that I was scrolling for hours on Instagram, or that I was looking at my peers and thinking that because I don't have a car yet, or I haven't moved out of my mother's house yet, or I cannot afford to do certain recreational activities yet, that I'm behind or even failing or stuck. The biggest thing for me has always been like I've always felt stuck because of when I look around at the people that I went to university with or people that I went to high school with, they look like they're much further ahead than me. But that's also the thing. That is the thing, right? They are who they are, and I am who I am. And I think that's something that we overlook all the time, that we are not the same person. So life won't look the same for all of us. And also, things would be really boring if things happened in the same way at the same time for everyone. The world wouldn't be colorful. That's the truth. From where I'm standing, that's how I see it. So it's important to really shift how we think, especially as millennials. You need to change your mindset. And I've realized that changing my mindset is something that has helped me significantly in terms of how I look at myself and also how I look at other people. And I can now really celebrate someone and be happy for them without becoming envious. I can definitely point out that this is amazing. This person has achieved such an amazing thing. They've bought a house, or they are renting an apartment, or they've been approved for car financing. That is an amazing thing, without saying, oh, but I'm behind. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that changing your mindset, changing how you think, changing how you speak is really important. And just remembering that we are not the same people. We are not meant to be experiencing things in the same way. And yeah, I've also realized that it is also okay to want to go outside and to want to meet up with my friends, to have lunch with them, and I want to go to the spa, want to go to a concert, be able to afford to do those things. That's really okay. It's okay to desire, but there is obviously a fine line between desire and envy. And yeah, I'm really accepting that not having access to these things yet does not mean I'm behind or failing or stuck. It just means my path looks different, like I mentioned, which is fine. It also means I need to be patient in my waiting for these things to happen for me, which is also okay. There's nothing wrong with waiting. There isn't any rush also. I'm not going anywhere, or I don't need to be going anywhere fast. I don't need to be going anywhere quickly. I have everything I need. Key emphasis on need. I have a roof over my head. I have a lot of support, love, kindness. I am never ever without anything that I need to help me thrive every single day. All of the glory be to God. Most importantly, I don't have children. I'm not married. I'm very single, and like I'm very comfortable in the fact that I'm not there yet. I know I also always used to say, especially in my earlier 20s, that I'd be married by now and I'd have kids, and I'd have my own house, and like me and my husband, we would be investing in properties, and I'd have cars, and I'd be able to go on holiday whenever I wanted to. No, reality struck very quickly. It really did. It hasn't worked out like that for me yet. Emphasis on yet, but it will happen eventually when the time is right for that to happen. But yeah, like I was saying, I don't have like humongous responsibilities. I don't have a bond repayment. I'm not responsible for a car repayment. in this season of my life, what God has tasked me with is taking care of myself mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially to a certain extent. I'm pouring into myself and showing up for myself. I'm showing up for my loved ones and having them show up for me too. And that's why I'm also always speaking of being able to identify and embrace whichever season you might find yourself in, so that you're not stuck focusing on things that are only consuming you and hindering your progress and are not allowing you to enjoy where you're at and are not allowing you to really fully immerse yourself in where you are at in your life and where you are meant to be focusing and growing, right? That term or concept of grow where you're planted, very good example of it. And I am coming to understand that it just means that the season that you are in, make sure that you are still giving yourself a chance to grow. Because when you focus on things that you shouldn't be focusing on and you're pouring your energy into things that you shouldn't be pouring your energy into, you are taking away from what you are meant to be doing at that point in your life. And so I said to myself, I'm not going to sit and complain. I'm not going to sit and be disappointed the whole time. There are things that are happening in my life that I've prayed for so long. So I'm living in answered prayers right now, and I shouldn't be acting like I'm not. I am in a waiting season for other things in my life. I heard someone say that we're always in a waiting season. So yeah, I'm always going to be waiting for something. You'll probably always be waiting for something. But even in your waiting, don't forget that you are still living in the reality that you're living in, that there are good things happening around you, that there are good people in your life, that there are good things happening within you. So don't put so much focus and emphasis on the things that you don't have. Focus, rather, pour your energy onto where you're at, onto what you need to learn, onto how you need to prepare yourself for the next chapter of your life or the next season of your life. And most importantly, please don't want to be like everyone else, because you're not. You are so different, and so is your life path, and you cannot spend your days being consumed with the fact that you are still single, or that you don't have a car yet, or you still stay in your mother's house, or that promotion still hasn't come around yet, or you're still not married yet, or you still haven't gotten on a plane yet. I promise you, all of the things I just mentioned are still going to be there a year from now, 2, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You just have to wait. You just have to be patient. And as someone who believes in God, as someone who is anchored in the word of the Lord, God speaks of it a lot in the Bible, where he says you need to be patient, you need to wait on me, you need to understand that there really is no rush, and that you're not going to make things go by any quicker by obsessing over them. When has obsessing about anything ever helped anyone? I mean, come on, let's be for real. Let's be for real. You can't put yourself in a position where you are constantly obsessing and where you are constantly worried about the fact that you are not at point D when you want to be there, and you're still at point A, or you've barely moved past point A. You know what? If you sit down and you think about it, there's really no need for you to be rushing anywhere. The pressures that you are feeling are not pressures that are coming from you, unless of course they are coming from you, which is also possible. And that's something that you would also need to identify and then work on, and stop putting pressure on yourself. But the pressures that we feel a lot of the time are pressures from people that are outside of us, our parents, our friends, colleagues, the world in general, social media. Yeah. And like I said, if you're putting pressure on yourself, please just slow down, give yourself a break, give yourself a chance. Guys, we go through so much as it is in this life. There's just so much going on. There is just so much going on. If it's not a global economic crisis, then it's a war that is breaking out somewhere, or it's this or it's that. I don't want to go into all of that too much, but we are going through a lot as it is by virtue of being human beings that live on this earth. And you should try your best when you are with yourself in what you're trying to create for yourself, the good quality of life you're trying to create for yourself. you should be the one that's being kind and gentle to yourself the most. You really, really should. And of course, then you should surround yourself with people who are like that with you as well. Yeah. And I think in that, surround yourself with people that are ambitious and that really want more for themselves and want to do more for themselves, but that know how to live a balanced life. It's not a constant rush, a constant on the move type of lifestyle. No, we can become successful. We can build wealth. We can draw closer to the Lord. We can become better people without rushing that process. For real. So yeah, think about that. Like, just think about what I just said. Let that marinate a little bit. Yeah. Also, another thing is that it's important to realize that when it isn't the time for you yet, it just isn't. But the time will come, especially when you have waited and you have waited well, and when you have patiently waited for what is yours. In its abundance, it will make its way to you. You won't have to go to war for it, be all torn up over it, act out of character for it. Nah, 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 absolutely not. Not even a little bit. That man, that job, that house or apartment, that trip abroad, that car, whatever it is you are constantly having to fight for, if you're having to practice witchcraft for it, wish for other people's downfall so that you can have it, that's not yours, my sister or my brother. You are now operating in some evil mess you shouldn't have had to operate in if you had just waited your turn. And that's what we do. That is what the human being will do. Just so that you can have what someone else has. And that's what envy will also lead you to do. You will end up doing things that you have never imagined you will do. There's really absolutely no need to take things that far. Just for things. Just for status. Just for access. Just for power. Guys, we really have to be a lot more careful with how we handle things and how we handle ourselves and the ideas and perspectives that we have on what a good and fulfilling life is. Because if you are basing the rush that you're in on the fact that you want to accumulate these things and you want to accumulate them now, I don't think that is reason enough to be doing some of the things that people are doing out there. Because of you want it instantly, you are going to wish for somebody's downfall, or you are going to ensure for someone's downfall so that you can take their position or so that you can have what they have. And it's just dangerous stuff to be playing with, in my personal opinion. There are also repercussions to the things that we do. I'm not quite sure if people understand the concept of repercussions anymore, because everyone just wants everything. They want it now and they don't care how they're going to do it. Guys, can we please be careful? Can you please know who you are, figure yourself out with yourself, learn about yourself through yourself, and stop seeking validation in things and in other people and in having power and having status, in promotions, in cars, in money. Please know who you are and figure yourself out and understand who you are. Because if you don't, you will just go with anything. And that's what it is. When you're willing to act out of character, or when you have no character at all, when you don't know yourself, you won't have character. But when you're willing to do whatever it takes to have money, to be liked, to be wanted, to be desired, whatever it takes, I don't think that's such a great place to be operating from. And that's why I'm for just understanding who you are and knowing what it is you want from yourself and from this life, so that you are not just going with anything, so that you have a backbone, and you are not just doing whatever it takes, because whatever it takes it's dangerous. It's just dangerous. Yeah. And if you find that you're becoming more and more consumed and envious of what you see online, that others have and what they have achieved, please get off Instagram or TikTok or both for a little bit and stop idolizing other people's lives. What's another one for me? Just idolizing people's lives, idolizing what people have, idolizing who people are. You don't know these people, and they don't know you either. Cliche, but you also don't know how they got those things. You don't know, people move really weird these days because waiting seems overrated, and so you don't even know what it is you are calling upon in your life with that envy. I take these things so seriously, as you can hear. I take these things extremely seriously. I believe that mindset is a very powerful thing. I believe that the tongue is also a very powerful thing. I believe that what you choose to put in your heart, put at the center of your heart, you can easily idolize. Money, other people and their lives and how they got the things that they got. Power, status, access, and all of the other things that people believe make them better than other people, right? I really do believe that these things have a lot of power, and I think that sometimes we overlook the power that they have. Idolizing people and idolizing things can never be a good road to go down, because that's also something that will open you up to wanting to do whatever it takes to have what other people have. And that's also why, again, I will say that you've got to know yourself and you've got to know what you want, and you have to know what it is you're trying to do with your life and in your life, and even what it is you are looking to happen within yourself, and focus on that. I spoke about it in a previous episode where I said you need to define your character traits. You need to define your principles, you need to define your values, you need to define how you're trying to live. And then once you know that, it is going to permeate into every other aspect of your life. It will shape your relationships, not just with yourself, but with other people. It will shape your relationship with money. It will, I'm seeing that now because I'm really getting into learning more about money and learning about being savvy and learning about really seeing or really understanding how money works, and seeing what it is that money can do for me, and that I can't put money on an extremely high pedestal, but I shouldn't be wasteful with money either. But that's only happening right now specifically because of I have been extremely intentional about getting to know myself and figuring out where Tcheto is trying to go with her life. And so it's starting to permeate into every other aspect of my life, my relationships with my family members, my immediate family members, so my mom, my sister, my brother, how I'm communicating with my friends, my colleagues, how I am interacting with other people. It is really showing just from figuring out what it is I'm doing, where it is I'm going, who exactly it is that I am. So yeah, focus on your own path. Let your journey be unique to you. Don't become consumed by what is not yours. And most importantly, wait your turn. And in the waiting, remember that it will be worth it. There is no rush. So please slow down. If anything, I think what we should all urgently desire is wisdom. Be in a rush to be wise and knowledgeable, if anything. Those are things that should be main priorities, because when you possess or have those attributes, the chances are that you will be able to best take care of everything else in your life. Your money, your job, your possessions, your car, your time, yourself, all of it. And even wisdom and becoming knowledgeable, those things also take time. It takes experiences. It takes time. But I'm just saying that if we want to be in a rush to be doing anything, we should be being in a rush to be wiser, a wiser people. There is so much beauty in just slowing down. I know it. I see it. Just slow down. You get an opportunity to really see how many answered prayers you are living in, just how blessed and favored you are, just how many good things you have going for you. My, oh my, oh my. In my personal experience, I found that rushing doesn't really provide the opportunity to just take a moment to express gratitude and take in everything that you have going for you. If anything, rushing through everything or rushing to achieve the next big thing will have you missing the beautiful moments that you should just be in awe of. You know, there's something that's happening to me right now, right? I spent a lot of my early 20s really doing quite a lot, achieving quite a lot, and that was all great. But I don't think that I actually gave myself the time to be like, whoa, girl, you really, really, really have worked hard towards this. You really, really have put your best foot forward, and look at the outcome of it. I was never giving myself the chance. It was the desire to go from one high after the other. And that's another thing when you attach your identity a lot, because I had attached a big part of my identity to the things that I could achieve, how I was able to achieve them, the magnitude of the achievement. And so because of my identity was so anchored in how well I could do, how much higher I could go, I always felt the need, and I was putting pressure on myself to do better, to do more, and to go faster. And now that I'm in my late 20s and I'm really appreciating to go slower, and I'm really seeing the importance and the beauty in going slower, I'm looking back and I'm really only taking a lot of the things that happened in now. I'm only taking in the things that happened back then. I'm talking about 2017, I'm talking about 2018, I'm talking about 2019, I'm talking about 2020. You see, those years, some really amazing things were happening for me. I was really experiencing, I was blessed enough. God was really kind enough to allow me to experience a lot of incredible things. Some I had never even thought to imagine that those were things that could happen for me. But yeah, God be doing that. God be opening doors and making ways and spaces for his children. But yeah, I'm looking back now and I'm like, that is actually so wild. That's wild. And I want to do more of that now. I just want to make the biggest deal and celebrate in the most amazing way, even something that might seem quote unquote small. I just want to take the time to appreciate and really be grateful for that thing that is happening in that moment. And I just want to continue having the attitude that I don't need to be rushing, and that I do need to just be sitting in moments and acknowledging them and enjoying them, and just appreciating them. It's like something like growing so much and seeing the growth in not reacting to a situation how I would have reacted to it 4 years ago. Like, that's something to celebrate. That's beautiful. And I don't need to constantly like feel like I need to be on a hamster wheel and I need to reach a new level of growth, a new level of healing. No, it's a journey. It's something I need to pace. It's something that I need to find ways to enjoy and appreciate. And that is exactly what I am learning to do. But that's like such a real thing. I have found that I do not react in the ways that I used to react back then, because I've grown now. Maturity, a better understanding of things, new perspectives, some wisdom, so I'm grateful for that, and I appreciate it, and I see it, and I can really give myself my flowers for that. So yeah, please just slow down a bit, think about it. You're young, your life is going to turn out better than you ever could have imagined, and you're going to eventually have it all figured out. You don't need to compete with anyone. You don't have to give in or entertain the idea that you have to have achieved certain things at your age, because your life journey has nothing to do with how old you are. You don't have any kind of point to prove to anyone. You really don't. You're all good. You're doing amazing. So, like I said earlier on, I'm really trying to learn more about money, how money works, educating myself about things like investment, saving, all of that good stuff. And I'm only just getting started. So if you can start earlier on in your 20s. Get wise about money, get wise about spending money wisely, putting your money aside, creating a safety net for yourself, because we get older, we don't get any younger. But yeah, I was watching a YouTube video on Mapa. Is that, I can't remember. I don't know if I'm going to say it right. Her name is Mapalomaku, and she is a financial advisor. She does financial education on YouTube. I hope I said her name right, so that if anyone's interested, they can go and check her out. But yeah, she was saying that no one actually really cares. We just give too much power and credit to people. No one cares what you're wearing, how you smell, how you look. No one's going to remember how you smelled, how you looked, the type of shoes you were wearing 5 years from now. Unless, of course, you guys took pictures, unless, of course, it was an event. Then you'll have pictures. But no one's really going to be like, oh my goodness, yeah, 5 years ago you were wearing this. We just put too much weight on things that don't matter. We give value to things that don't matter. And we are not putting value on things that do matter. You are the one that is responsible for really taking care of yourself, looking out for yourself, designing the life that you want, and then making sure that you live out those desires and you are putting your best foot forward to creating and maintaining this designer life that you have in mind. And it must be designed by you, according to you, with you in mind. So yeah, please slow down. There really isn't any need to be rushing. Yeah, this is where we are ending this week's episode. I've said everything I wanted to say. If you enjoyed this one, please give it a 5-star rating. It really helps the podcast grow. And for it to reach new listeners, please also comment and let me know what your thoughts were on this one. A Cupful is available on all listening platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts. So please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. You can also find me on Instagram. My personal account is Tsetli_MO, and the A Cupful one is at @A_Cupful. But that's not all. A Cupful is also on TikTok, so just type in A Cupful Pod and you will find that you can just click follow, and please follow. Yeah, please have a beautiful remainder of this week. Work hard when you need to, rest just as much when it is time for that. Nourish your body and mind, make good choices, be kind to yourself and other people, and don't forget to keep doing the things that fill your cup.